Is it recording? Yeah, I'm going to pause it and then restart because I will cut these things out as well. Hello everybody, I'm here with my very high-tech mic stick. And I would like to welcome Sally Green, one of my favourite authors, who also happens to be a Warringtonian.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I live in Warrington. I'm not from Warrington. I always say that.
I didn't know that. Where are you from?
Lytham St Anne's, that's Lancashire. So.
Right, I see. You're a Lancashire girl. Yeah.
The thing I always can't get over with Oscar is how we met and how, though we're from hugely different parts of the world, we met round here, and yeah, we're in Warrington.
Yeah, exactly. I think we met in my book launch, my first book launch, didn't we?
Yeah, that was 5 years ago.
2015. So yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'd had Half Bad out then. Oh, I was just about to.
It was out, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just trying to see how other people did launches, and I think because you were the Penguin, I saw that you...
we were both Penguin back then.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened, but I saw you were doing a launch and it was local, and there aren't many things.
Yeah, because everything is very London-centred, yeah.
So I just...
so we're outdoors.
So yeah, I asked a friend to come with me to this launch. And of course we're late as usual. And so I missed quite a bit of it, but we had a great time and I met you then and it was really lovely. And then... weirdly, we've met in different places since then. We
met in Mexico when you went to it was a young adult.
Yeah, that was in Mexico City, which was fantastic. So I've been to Mexico twice now, to Guadalajara, first of all, and then when was it? Nearly 2 years ago in Mexico City.
Yeah, 2018, and I remember because it was the coldest winter we had in
So I had taken clothes that you think you need in Mexico, i.e. things that weren't really for cold weather, and I ended up wearing everything because you just think, I'll have everything on.
Yeah, but it was really cold for everyone. I had never seen such cold days, and it was just like 1-2 days. Yeah. It was like a dip in temperature just exactly when you arrived.
Thank you. And then, in fact, I can't even believe it was the same week because later on in the week it was boiling, really hot and gorgeous. And
next time we met it was boiling.
Yeah. Was that same week? I can't.
It was like 2 days after the horrible.
It seems incredible, but yeah, we met up in Mexico, and I decided then to tag on a few days of holiday because I don't often do that, and because I'm alone, and you sort of feel a bit strange about what am I going to do on my own. But I really wanted to see a bit of Mexico City, and when you're working on these tours, you actually you get to see certain things, but there's often huge things that you miss. So again, funny enough, it was through my friend Alex, who I came to your launch with in 2015. Okay. I mentioned to her I was going to Mexico City and I'd love to spend some time there. And she said she had a friend who was touring the world and happened to be in that area. So she gave me his number. So we met up with him, Fraser. And then Oscar said he was there. So we all met up. And I had a few days holiday, and Oscar showed me around very kindly, and I met this new friend Fraser as well, and yeah, it was fantastic.
Fantastic really. The highlight were the margaritas.
Yes, well, the food at the place.
Oh yeah, because I have to tell you, I took Sally to see Sor Juana's home to El Claustro. We all loved it, didn't we? That now is. This nun is like a Mexican Jane Austen mixed with Shakespeare. And now her nunnery is a university because she cooked. She actually wrote. There's a cookery book that's attributed to her, and that's why the university now is like a gastronomy university, which we loved. Fantastic, yes. 'Cause it's the students who cook and design the menus.
Yes.
And,
so it's a really good price, but perfect service and all beautifully done. And
I should ask for a commission. They should really give me commission. But yeah, it was a lovely trip. Anyway, going back to business. There's like 3 people who don't know Sally who are watching this. She's responsible for the Have Bad series, which I love.
Thank you very much. Yes.
And I think I would have to take it closer to the camera. The Smoke Thieves trilogy. They're both trilogies, aren't they?
Yeah, both trilogies. Yeah.
So you started Have Bad in 2010, didn't you?
Yeah, I started writing in 2010. I had this idea for a story, and my personal life was a bit of a mess, and I was doing a lot of just walking and thinking, and I wanted to do something different with my life. I really didn't know what. I'd had a career as an accountant, and I started then studying with the Open University, and that, I suppose, drove me, because I had this vague idea, well, I'm going to learn about things that I really am interested in. So it was a lot of eat green issues, bit of feminist issues, but I didn't really know where it was leading. But because I was doing the studying, that's when I discovered that I actually just loved writing essays. It made me look into a subject properly. It makes you really think. When you have to write about it, you do have to think things through properly. And I just loved it. And the first year of this course I'd been doing had come to an end, and I had that time that I'd always set aside each week to do writing essays. I just thought, I'm going to write this idea of a story that I had. And it just grew. I mean, I thought it'd be 3 pages and a little bit of a story.
Ended up at like 400 for the first book.
It just literally did. I started in June, and by September I had a novel, which I didn't think was so unusual, but I realise now a lot of people struggle just to finish, and I was just in that place in my life where I just wanted to be by myself. I wanted to think about something different, and I found I just loved this story, and I knew it was far from perfect. So that's when I then decided to study creative writing, because I just thought, I was reading my own story back and thinking, I know there's weird things wrong with this, but I don't know what it was. And literally I didn't know that I had the point of view jumping all over the place, but I didn't even know what that was. I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't know to actually say, oh yeah, now you're saying from this girl's point of view and now you're speaking from the boy's point of view. I didn't know that was a thing. Right. So that's how basic my level of understanding of
you studied the creative writing at the Open University?
Yeah, so I carried on with the OU, Open University, and which was great. It suited me perfectly, and I was just really serious. I was the really serious student because I just found something I loved. And but again, never thinking I'd ever get published, because you just hear constantly how difficult it is. Yeah. And also I wasn't the best student in the class by far. So that's always a thing, like, oh, I knew I was okay, but there weren't literary fiction in a sort of
they're very readable
sense. And I was always told that it was very fast paced, as if that was a criticism, and
they said that as a criticism.
I know.
Usually the first thing my editor asks is like, oh, you're just lacking here a little bit, you make it a little bit smoother.
But it never, not my confidence in that. I never expected very much, so I was just enjoying it. I just loved writing. I think
it really helps when you don't have any pressure.
Yeah,
and you don't have a deadline.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I look back to that, and we'll probably talk about this about my life now. But I really love that. I was just writing what I want. But having said that, I also remember very much, and this comes back to this Warrington thing, I think. I really had a nervousness about where to set my story. It's set in the north of England. It's set in Warrington, though Warrington isn't named, but I set it somewhere where I knew. I was really nervous about that. I was really thought, well, nobody set stories in Warrington. It's London or Cambridge or Oxford or
like the very picturesque grand settings.
So I genuinely, and I actually did try and go through books that I know that are set, apart from Wuthering Heights, famously, obviously, but of more contemporary stories that are set outside of London.
I can only think of the Lancashire Witches, which is the 19th century book, and then the Manchester Man, which is also 19th century. But, contemporary. It does tend to be.
There isn't much, but Alan Garner is an author who actually is from Cheshire, and his stories round Alderley Edge, and that sort of gave me. Discovering that gave me the thing. Oh right, somebody else has done it, and I now look back and can't believe. But I'm glad I had that experience, because it makes me realise that all these little things, as little stumbling blocks that make you doubt yourself or doubt what you're doing. And now that won't bother me at all. But it's I can see from other authors' points of view who are starting off as thinking, oh, should I do this or should I? You just have to do.
Yeah, you just have to do your story. Yeah, otherwise you just end up writing something completely generic. It's the samey. We haven't talked about the book itself.
Which one are we talking about?
We'll start with Half Bad. I compare it a little bit to the X-Men. Although it's fantasy and it's witches, to me it had that bit of like really urban feeling, segregated people that were different in some way.
Yeah.
What do you reckon about?
I suppose a secret power thing.
The secret power thing.
Yes, it certainly isn't very witchy in that there's broomsticks and
you have like more like magic guns that kill faster, and
it's much more like X-Men is that the power's inside you and you have to find your particular power. So that is very similar.
Yeah, and even within the witches society, let's call it, Nathan, the main character, he's an outcast.
Yeah, so there's black witches and white witches, and the white witches are the ones in control and sort of always hate the black witches and consider them evil.
Yeah, the white witches are the sinister ones.
And yet it's really, you could say the other way around, that the white witches are actually the evil ones because they have taken the power and are abusing it. And Nathan is the hero in that his father is, of course, the most evil of the black witches, and his mother, who's dead, was a white witch. And so, his life, it's the story of his life, really, of going through just trying to work out which side he belongs to, and how the white witches try and use him, and who can he trust, and his teenage years when he discovers his power, and the war between the black witches and the white witches. Gosh, it's ages since I've written it.
You're doing really well for something you wrote. Well, you started 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It published in 2015.
That's
14.
Right. Yeah.
I completely forgot what I was going to say. It's a very gritty narrative, and I find it even at some point is more disturbing and violent than other books for grown-ups I've read. You probably remember these.
He's going to read. Right.
Okay, if you read it and you reach that BW page, beware. And you pretty much changed quite a bit it's a completely different beast, the Smoke Thieves trilogy. It's a very medieval fantasy setting.
Yeah.
Point of view characters. You have five characters. I read both, and these one I'm gonna sound a bit snobby now. This one technically is much more, would have been much more harder to accomplish than Half Bad.
Yes.
You keep the grittiness. Towards the end, there's this scene where the word you use is contraption. And I don't want to give any spoilers, but there's a very scary contraption.
Yes. Half Bad, I think, because it was my first book, I was absolutely in love with the characters and upset. I felt like they were a huge part of my life. And I needed to do something to really step away. And it took me a while to find that story. And again, it started off with one idea, because I don't plan, and we've had this discussion before.
We had the discussion before, yes.
So I do very much launch into things, start writing, get all enthusiastic, and then it sort of morphs into hopefully something that can be made into a novel. I wanted to try different narratives. I always knew I wanted to try a couple of different points of view. I think it quickly grew to 4, and then it grew to 5. And it technically was the hardest thing from a writing point of view, because you've obviously got the different characters' voices, you've got their storylines, and the most difficult thing was getting them all to mesh so that you don't forget. We haven't talked about Tash for ages, the young girl. So I need to put her in, but she's not really doing much. So you have to think, how is it going to all fit
how do I bring it back?
I could scream. It was the most complicated thing, and I had fun with the world, because I've never really think of myself as a world builder, but it's something I love, because what I think of solving practical problems is, how is Princess Catherine going to get from the north to the south, and how long does it take riding a horse, and would she go in a coach, or would she walk, or would she do this, and what food do you eat, and what, all these practical things. And when you get the evil king, how would he kill people? What particular
contraptions come into the scene?
What particular contraptions would he use? And yeah, I love that. I do like, because I think I surprise myself as what gruesome things I come up with, or just the fun things as well. So, and even the opening scenes in Smoke Thieves, where Tash is hunting demons, is right. How would I catch a demon?
Because I love that. I love that premise of the book. It's a shame that it's black and white and you can't see the purple. The smoke that they steal, I quite like that concept, as a Mexican. It's very similar to drug dealing. So when you kill the demon, it's like their soul that comes out as
their soul, or whatever one wants to think of it, comes out of their mouth, and the demon hunters is illegal. In fact, let's read this.
The smoke is actually a drug.
Yeah. So it is illegal to buy, trade in, procure, obtain by any means, inhale, swallow, or use in any fashion the smoke from demons. So that's the law of the land. Yeah. And Tash, the young girl, is a demon hunter. She works with Gravel, who's this sort of gruff older man.
I always pronounced it Gravel.
Yeah, Gravel.
No, Gravel sounds nice.
And they're demon hunters. So yeah, they have to find a demon, catch a demon, kill the demon pretty hard, all of these things. And when the demon dies, the smoke comes out of the mouth of the demon and they just put it in a bottle.
How did you come up with that idea?
I don't
if
know.
you remember.
I don't know. It's like anything. You start right, or certainly with me, because I don't plan. I knew I wanted them to be. I knew there was going to be demons, and these were the very first ideas I was drafting up, and I love this idea of hunting. And then, but why are you hunting? What are you going to do? So what? Are you either killing it to save people? No, I just like this idea of it was this. They were doing it for money somehow, and they're on the sort of wrong side of the law. But
it also reminds me the lovable Rose. I love Tash.
Yeah, she's certainly a favourite character of mine and lots of people. So they catch the smoke and they sell it. And in the first book, really, it's almost this one bottle of smoke is sort of the story that
it's really the story of that bottle
whose hands it falls into, because they lose it and then it moves around, and that's how these 5 characters all come together. They're all from different parts of this medieval world, and they do eventually meet through this one bottle of smoke. Which has a special power, and it's purple smoke, and it was fun. It was fun.
It's a really fun book. Yes.
To write.
Yeah, I haven't read the second one yet, and I really want to. 'Cause that's when you're going to explore the demon's world.
Yes, yeah. So then, it's back to this world-building story of I really wanted, right, in the Smoke Thieves, Tash, she enters the very sort of first bit of the demon world, just the entrance, and I wanted to go further into it and just think, okay, again, the same practical things. Well, what do they do day in, day out, these demons?
What do they eat? What do they...
Yeah. So you then start, and how do they live? And all these things. You think, what the heck are they doing down there? And that really follows through to the third book. I'm really proud of how it all ends because there's a big reveal about the demon world itself.
Don't tell me.
It was fun. I'm always surprised about myself. I never think of myself as very imaginative. I think I am quite a practical person, and the way I come up with ideas, it is practical. It is right, how do I solve this problem? And if they do that, then what would this happen? And let's try and think how this world would work from a very practical point of view. Because I like to think of them working. I like to think of them, I have to
the world has to make sense.
Yes,
and I think especially with when you're building everything, it has to be a cohesive whole. It has to make sense.
And I did, and because I don't plan, I really did suddenly think, crikey, how am I going to get this demon world to work? But I was really pleased with it because I just thought, it's an interesting place.
Have you ever cornered yourself plot-wise, or wished you had done something differently?
I probably, in little ways. No,
yeah, because that's my big fear. That's why I plan so much. Because I'm always afraid that what if I just at the very end I just find that didn't work. And especially now that I have deadlines for my books.
I think that I agree from the deadlines point of view. I think that's why the world is so important to get it right, because if it does work, then I have confidence that you will find a solution, because if it works, then in real life you would find a solution to whatever situation it is. And the nice thing with novels as well is you can bring in a new character or a new situation that sort of changes things and shifts.
Yeah, especially with fantasy, you can.
So you have a certain freedom there to move things in a different direction. Which is fun as well, because that is unexpected for the reader. And
you can create, I don't know, if the chapter's going to be boring, you can. Oh, there's a mountain here they have to climb now, or there's an ocean they have to cross. Yeah, I'm really tempted to start some proper fantasy, high-end fantasy.
Oh really? Oh yeah, great.
Because of that, because I'm quite. I'm not gonna say bored, because I really enjoy doing my historical research, but I have like a pile of reference books, which you probably saw, my massive bookcases. And I have that constant fear that just at the end of writing the book, I'll find that there was this little detail that makes the whole plot impossible or ridiculous. So I do.
The nice thing is, and that's why I do love fantasy, is because then, and the same that was true for Half Bad, is it's my world, my rules. I say what goes, and nobody can say, oh, well, that wouldn't happen.
That's not accurate. Demons are not that colour.
Yes, exactly. If I say they are, they are.
Yeah, the sun's coming out.
Hooray.
Actually, I should say we're out.
Beautiful blue
It is
sky.
beautiful, yes. And actually, we're outside and we're using the magical stick. Because today is the last Sunday we'll be able to meet, even in our gardens in Warrington. And it's also apparently the last sunny Sunday of the season.
It is, yes. It's autumn is approaching, but it is thankfully the sunny weather has made lockdown and all of that bearable.
It has made a difference, the weather, definitely. Has it affected your writing in any way?
I didn't plan to do much writing over the summer anyway, because right at the beginning of lockdown, way back in March 2020.
Sounds like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, 6 months ago now, gosh. I was just doing the very final edits, the final tweaks to the third book of the Smoke Thieves series, and that was it. And I knew I was going to take a break after that, because, as you've hinted at before, writing to deadline is really stressful and really hard work. And I'd done a trilogy, so that was a book a year. So I sort of knew I would want to just flop, basically. And then there was lockdown, so I wasn't going to be doing. I mean, I would have liked to have gone abroad on holiday, but that didn't happen, obviously.
You'd probably be still trapped though.
No. And unfortunately, obviously, the launches all didn't happen. So all of it has been very quiet, but. I didn't intend to write, but I did intend to read, and I've hardly read. I've found the whole COVID situation has really affected me much more than I thought, because I am a writer. I love my own company. I love just sitting by myself writing and reading. That sounds blissful to me, but I just couldn't concentrate. I really found my head just was not in the right place. And I'm normally a very positive, upbeat person, and I definitely found the whole situation, I wouldn't say depressing me, but certainly really affecting my mental health. And as I say, I'm a positive person, so I hate to think how many people are coping. It's surprising, and I think that lockdown period where we really were stuck in our houses, I really appreciated how solitary confinement is a torture. I'd never experienced that. I mean, I live with my son. There was just two of us in the house. I didn't see an awful lot of him. He was on his computer games a lot. So, and the chance, the little things that you sort of take for granted, meet a friend for coffee, just have a chat, go out for a drink, go for a walk with a friend, all of that suddenly gone. It just really surprised me how it...
Yeah, it's besides one of those situations that we couldn't really have imagined them even as writers. It's a bizarre situation.
The feelings... thankfully, as we said, the weather made it bearable, and I just sort of had a sort of switch a few weeks in and thought, right, I've got to treat this like a holiday. I'm just going to sit in the sun, enjoy, read a little, but I found I couldn't read. I read about 2 books, I think, and I just couldn't concentrate at all. So I didn't even try to write. I mean, I jotted down a few ideas, and that's changed now. And that, as lockdown has eased and we're coming out of it, I'm coming up with more ideas. I'm reading a bit more, and I feel life is getting back to normal.
Normal-ish, yeah.
Until the last few days when we suddenly...
It was yesterday that they announced it.
Yeah.
Was it yesterday? It was Friday, and I instantly messaged you like, we have to do this now.
Come round because we're for the next few weeks at least, we're not allowed to visit people's gardens. We're not allowed to do this. So we'll see. But hopefully the full lockdown won't come back. But I think it is meeting up with friends you realise how precious that is.
Yeah, and I think I didn't realise how much I missed meeting other people and other authors until I've started going out.
Yeah.
So hopefully, it won't last
and
for that long.
It's fine, but it really isn't the same.
It's definitely not the same. No, definitely. Even though they tried to tell us that, but no, it's not the same. So, when could we expect to see any new Sally Green stuff?
Well, I am, as I say, I'm coming up with ideas, and but I just want to enjoy. I want to go back. You hinted at that idea, that half bad, when I wrote without a contract, without even thinking it would ever get published, but that freedom of just being able to write what I want and not have this pressure of a deadline. Because even with the Smoke Thieves, I had a deadline.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So. I just want to enjoy, and but I suspect maybe January I'll start getting serious about it, and that'll come around horribly quickly. But I'm dabbling, and as I say, I've started reading again. I think my enthusiasm for it all is it hasn't gone, but it's been the strangest of times.
We need the space. We need the space, definitely. So it would be, are your ideas also fantasy, or you want to go to a completely different genre?
Can I say? I think it'll be more half bad in that it'll be set. I want to set it in a contemporary situation, right. Mm-hmm. But there may be a character who's otherworldly, shall we say? That's my current thoughts, but we will see. But I just want to. I want to get back to and a northern setting is what I'm hoping for at the moment. I do like setting. I do like in a way supporting the north, writing a sort of story about where I come from and looking at. The really sort of great and interesting things that are around me here. So we will see.
We will see. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Sally, for coming to my back garden. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully we can do it again at some point. Maybe if we make it to Mexico, we could have a lovely interview over margaritas.
Yes, I'll hold you to that.
So, fingers crossed. Yeah, I will. Well, bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Bye, everyone.